Of every page in the platform, this is the one I have open all day, the live scanner. Everything we built in the last few videos, the model, the breach, the layers, it runs all of that across the entire market and hands you a nice, easy to read ranked list. The whole point here is speed. In just a few seconds per name, you can very quickly decide A, is this a move I want to trade, or B, is this a move I want to skip? Let me show you how I actually use the live scanner. Now, if we start on the left-hand side, you'll find a list of all of the live setups. Now, this list is already ranked by edge with the strongest setups at the top. You know that this is the strongest setup by the letter grade. It goes from A+, then down to A, then down to B, and so on. Very intuitive. Now, each row will also give you, alongside the grade, the ticker that's triggering, the direction it's triggering in, the market stage it's in, and remember this is on the daily time frame, the trend, and finally, which model triggered, whether it was the daily or the hourly. Now in all of this, I think the grade is your shortcut. A+ names are where most conditions are lining up, and it helps to read top down. This way you're never staring at a blank chart wondering where to look. A+ is just a very easy way to start the process. You can also narrow this down by clicking the drop down and changing this list from all setups down to just a watch list of stocks that you might care to trade. That would be another way to narrow down this list right away. Now underneath this drop down, you'll find the toggle switches. These toggle switches let you alternate between all setups or just the longs or just the shorts. If you want to be long only today, one click and the list is just longs, and this way you can avoid the temptation of shorts as well, especially when the market might be in pure acceleration mode. Over here, you'll also find the close tab. Now we'll come back to that one. It's one of the more useful tabs, and I think most people gloss over it. Now, before we talk about the close tab, let's first take a look at the filters, because I think this is where most of you will find you can narrow down to just a list of stocks you care to trade. If you click on the filters icon, this will then pull up a modal that allows you to narrow down this list of stocks even further. You'll be able to filter down by things like trend or only counter trend setups. You'll be able to look at swings where today's swing might be much larger than our baseline, or the places where today's volatility is very much in line with the volatility we're looking for. The entry proximity filter is where if you check entry only, that will show you just the setups that are actually near the entry price or better, which allows you to filter out the trades that are already making their way towards the target. Finally, you can filter down based off of both the models and their sensitivities. I like to leave this at all in all, but if the markets start to move, you may want to adjust this down to something like the daily and the conservative models, or daily and all, to narrow down the list and filter out the hourly models. You'll also find filters for risk to reward, where you can skew for looking for setups where you're risking 1.5 to make one, risking 2 to make one. You can also skew the risk to reward on your side by looking for trades at entry that are closer to their stop. You can also filter down the market stages in the regime section, where if, say, the markets or the S&P might be in the stage of acceleration, you can focus on just the stocks in the green or acceleration phase that might be in fresh trends to find where do you have places where you can ride this new uptrend. So the filters are a very quick and easy way to apply whatever the market is doing onto this entire scanner and filter down the list you see. It's a very easy way to make this list from, in this case, 103 down to something much smaller and manageable. Now let's click on any row and you'll see that the right side fills in. So for example here, I clicked XLY and now I can see a chart loaded on of XLY. Notice that XLY was breaching a short side entry off of the hourly Volatility Box models, and on the right side the chart loaded the hourly models, the aggressive ones, which is where the entry is triggering off of, and you can see where that short side entry triggered and what has been happening since. Just like the charts page, you can switch between the toggles of the 1 minute, the 5 minute, the 15, the 1 hour, the daily, and this allows you through the live scanner to very quickly get a view of what's happening and make a decision. Now on the same right panel, you'll also find things like the entry price and all of the trade mechanics at the top. So you'll find the entry, the stop loss, the target, this is the first target, and then you'll find the second target, the run or exit. To the right of the entry price, you'll also find in parentheses the backtest results of this particular strategy. So it gives you a quick, easy to view glance of what have been the metrics inside of XLY. In this case, we can see it's just been a 48% winner over 75 trades. So in this case, I might not be looking at the hourly models in this case to hold, but rather, or the hourly aggressive model, excuse me, but rather something more like the hourly conservative models, which might have a much higher win rate. Now, on the right side, you'll also find the same stock context and the trade checks that we talked about earlier, except this time they're ready to go alongside the resistance and support levels, so you have that at the time of making your decision directly on the live scanner. Now, if you remember, I said we would come back to the Close tab. Now, I like the Close tab quite a bit, especially for the stocks that have recently stopped out. The reason is what we might consider a stop is something that you would very much consider active now that you know how to apply setups. What I mean by that is on, say, days where you might have earnings, where the stock is really, say, selling off. You might have breached the aggressive volatility box models. You have yet to hit the conservative, and maybe you're just joining the market right now. Well, the Close tab will show you very easily that, say, JP Morgan or United Healthcare just recently closed out. It stopped, which tells you that, okay, volatility is increasing in United Healthcare. It breached the hourly, say, aggressive models. Now we want to pay attention for what's to come, which would be the next breach, aka the conservative. If volatility is really picking up, you can find predictions of the daily breaches to come. You can also apply existing setups on places where we're flirting on the outer edge of the models, which would still very much be active setups. You're just getting a much better entry, and you can adjust your stop based off of the pivot point that price is giving you. So there's lots of ways to use the live scanner to make it work for your particular trading style. It starts with the watch list filters along with the actual filter panel, which lets you apply what is the market doing, the market regime, and use that to filter down the list of stocks into something a little bit more useful. If you remember, when we started the Today page exercise in this onboarding series, we saw that the SPY market was currently in this market stage of accumulation, day 6. So that's giving us just a slight bullish bearish. So that's giving us just a slight bullish bias, but a bullish bias nonetheless. So if you wanted, simply click on the long tab, and now you would have a filtered down list of all of the places where we have just this long side setup. Filter down to the S&P 100, and all of a sudden that list of 100 plus is now down to the 10 tickers where you want to be paying attention to. You can also find what sectors might be moving here with the sector list, for example, McDonald's, Bank of America, American Express, etc. Find patterns inside of groupings of symbols inside of a sector that are moving and take advantage of it. Okay, so in this video, you now learned how to use the live scanner to have this running watch list of setups. Use this throughout the day. If you have a full-time job, come at any point throughout the day and you'll be able to see what at this current moment has a volatility edge and is giving you an entry. Now in the next video, we're going to walk through the backtester, which will allow you to dive deeper into the performance of the models on your favorite stocks and start to infer clues around which volatility setups you want to trade and which volatility setups you might want to wait for a slightly better entry on. I'll see you in the next video.